It starts in the desert. You cling to life. You find others. Friends.
Dune Awakening is an open-world, survival massive multiplayer in a world shared by hundreds of other players. The gameplay looks fairly straightforward, with exciting combat, focus on exploration, and some creative base building. We don't know much about the story, but it won't particularly follow the storyline of the movies. The developers recently answered questions from their community, so we have some new info right here. Shields and Holtzman tech are great for protecting your character well against both melee and projectiles. They won't protect you forever. Too much damage to them will cause the shields to deactivate. Not to mention, using your shields while on the open sand is not recommended. Remember that the vibrations will attract the Vorms and make enemy fire look trivial next to the attention of shy Hulud. You can turn these shields off, but whatever your playstyle, using shields is recommended if you plan on going toe-to-toe with an enemy. There are currently no plans to play the game fully in first person. We've designed Dune Awakening with a third-person setting in mind for the best experience. However, there are certain items that will allow you to go into first person to help with your survival. This includes binoculars and sniper scopes. While we won't have sandworm riding at launch, it's a highly anticipated feature that we're eager to implement. As you've probably seen from the Dune films, sandworm riding is one of the most dangerous yet thrilling feats to pull off. We want to make sure it's as impactful as the cinematic moment it's inspired by in the Dune movies. To achieve this, we're taking a deliberate approach and won't rush its development. You can set permissions to decide who can use your vehicles. By default, they only allow access to the person who's built them. There are also vehicles that can be found in the world and are accessible to everyone, so they can be stolen from NPC. To keep your vehicle safe from others and the harsh environment, you can craft and use a vehicle backup tool. This allows you to store it in your inventory until you need it again. As you explore Arrakis, visit points of interest, complete contracts, and so on, you will gain experience points. These points will level your character up and give you skill points and tech points. You'll also discover intel around certain points of interest which will help unlock recipes in the technology tree. This is where you'll get more weapons, armor, and other items to craft to help in your survival. If you need help along the way and are unable to craft them yourself just yet, these items can be found around the world for you to pick up and use. Or if you have a particularly helpful friend with you, they can lend you their armor or weapons. You will also find wandering masters in your journey who will teach you more abilities from different schools. And now, light no fire. This is gained from developers of No Man's Sky, but instead of being set in space with endless planets to explore, it's set in an ancient fantasy planet the size of Earth. The announcement trailer for Light No Fire overviews many features and mechanics of the game. We learned that it will be set in a completely procedural, fantasy Earth with various mythical creatures, like skeletons and dragons roaming the various biomes. We don't know nothing about story right now. It likely won't be a main focus, but we suspect there will be some goal for players to work toward, similar to getting to the center of the universe in No Man's Sky. Survival elements like gathering wood and building structures appear to be a major component. Each player will create their own custom character, but aren't limited to just being human. You will be able to create animal characters like foxes, rabbits, wolves, and more. Multiplayer is a key aspect of Light No Fire. You will always be able to encounter and team up with other players while playing. We already seen both sword and bow combat. Other shots show spears and shields, so there will be more weapon options, though we are curious if there will be any magic. It's something special when you and your friends spend a few evenings scaling a mysterious, uncharted mountain that was miles high. Reaching the summit, which will be named after the player who discovered it. Where you choose to go next and how you want to try and get there is completely up to you. There's a whole world out there to be explored. We don't have much information about this game, but it has a lot of potential. This game coming very soon. Atomfall is developed by Rebellion, creators of Sniper Elite. Game takes inspiration from real-life Windscale, nuclear accident of 1957. You have to face everything from cults to rogue government agencies as you do your best to survive. You will need to navigate military encampments, delve through abandoned bunkers below ground, and risk your life. Central to the dark mystery are the host of eccentric characters and cryptic organizations that inhabit the quarantine zone. You can craft weapons and items and ransack houses for supplies, changing your character by interactions with villagers and using a skill tree. You also have a rusty metal detector that you can use to scavenge for supplies and find secrets in the world. However, there is no base building. Combat will be familiar to players of first-person RPGs, but comes with some own mechanics. You can only quick-slot 4 weapons at any one time. And ammo is extremely rare. You will need also combine your style with melee combat. You don't have stamina in this game. You have a heart rate meter. That's how Sniper Elite games tackle the same thing. Effectively, it's the reverse of a stamina meter. The more activity you perform, your heart rate spikes, and that means things like your gun aim will be less accurate.
How do? Where did you come from, eh?
You will have also quite a freedom in this game. For example, when something happens in the village and you investigate it, you can decide whether to report what happened or side with someone who's still there and involved in the investigation. If you think someone's responsible, you can convince them to flee the village. By the end of this little part, you'll get a few clues that lead you further into the story.
Please leave. Please, I beg of you, just forget you saw anything here and go, please. These are awful times. If news of this gets out, things will get worse, I assure you. Please, tell no one. I know how it seems, but I would not ask such a thing if it weren't for the good of the village. It's vital the military don't learn of this. We'll tidy up, but if the captain and his toy soldiers find out, things will become so much worse here.